Welcome back to another episode of the Captain's Table podcast. This is our After Dark section. We just talked about, well, it's not After Dark because we've had Fast Cart here the entire time. So,
still dark.
Still dark. I have to make that joke because if I don't, Fast Cart will make the joke, and then it gets even worse.
It'll be so much worse coming from me. I mean, I still haven't gotten over how we met at Quantum Vegas, Paul. Because I don't think we've addressed it on the captain table. When Quantum Vegas happened in July,
I walked right by him.
You
Basically,
walked right by me. Didn't say hi. Didn't say how are you. Nothing. You walked right by me as if I wasn't there. So So I'm like, Paul. Maybe if I smile real wide, you open my eyes real big, you could have seen me. But it may be too dark for him to see. And plus, I was in my car, so I wasn't at eye level. He's a big guy.
So in my defense, I was at that point was going off of like 3 hours of sleep, so my brain was not exactly in a position of knowing what was going on. I actually didn't even see anybody I knew, and I was like, "What? This bar is pretty busy, but I don't see any Star Citizen people." And eventually, my brain started acclimating to, "Oh no, that's a Star Citizen person. That's a Star Citizen person." So,
okay. And also, before we get started, I wanted to address my introduction from the previous segment. I'm glad that I have my notes in my speech covering up Tree and Paul, because the way they're reacting, I knew I had comedy gold, but I didn't expect you two to react the way you did. So I'm glad I covered you up, because it was hard for me to get through that with a straight face.
Yes.
I don't know. You know me.
I know.
I was expecting something, because this is not the first time we've been on the show together. I was not expecting that. I was not ready.
So we did an episode on Star Citizen's funding. As of the recording of this, they had made about $95 million this year, and talked about how it's on track to become a record year. Pretty much every month has been a record month for them. So we talked about like what's going on, why is this happening, is this sustainable, and will this have to change in the distant future? When we
How do they keep getting away with it?
How do they keep getting away with it?
Yeah, right.
It should have been me.
Those meddling kids.
Yeah. But yeah, so now this is the question and answer section where we take questions from the chat. Even YouTube, even though YouTube's not on here, my Restream bot broke, so it didn't work properly. But it does actually the actual.
I see some YouTube stuff in here.
The bot, the question bot, does pick up the YouTube, but not even my preview, like the like studio side of YouTube video, YouTube streaming. I can't even see the chat there. It's so broken. I don't know what's going on. What we're gonna do is we're gonna go to the question bot. We got a lot.
Yes, I was just telling Tree that.
The first question is from Steve the Dancer, who asks, what big features do you think will make it in this year? Fast Cart?
We've already seen several big features already, right? So you want more big features?
This year, though.
Well, we're not getting next. Yeah. We're not getting next, so that's a big feature. I mean, how do you define big? What is big? How big? No.
I think he means features in general rather than like content, because pretty much everything we've had so far has been content on top of
I don't think we're getting engineering this year. I think that'll be next year.
Next year?
So, yeah. This year, more ships.
Tree?
We can't even really call it a feature, but I think that there's still a non-zero and probably halfway decent chance that we see a patch in live with the new dev branch and Vulkan.
Okay.
Yep. But that's that's tech. It's not really like when I think of features, I think of like gameplay features, like engineering radar scanner.
Yeah.
Right.
And so I don't think that they will package a feature with that the live version of that patch, just in order to kind of soft launch the new branch, have less chance for things to break. Because if it does make it in live, it'll be towards the end of last patch of the year. And if it's just the current version of the game plus a little bit of content, and Vulkan, less things to go wrong before the end of the year. But I could see that also just still being in tech preview and not being live until beginning of next year.
And Steve's answer, you're the one who asked the question. What big features would you like to see? Because we already got medical, well, mostly medical, and a whole bunch of other stuff that came in this year. So what more do you want, Steve? What more do you want?
What do you want?
All we thought was medical consuming resources. That was
it's just with medical, what we got is that being hooked up into the resource system, which is big. And that resource system was one of the things that was added in before 4.0. It was added in 3.23 or whatever. The last three patch was that one. The last last patch that we got, which was actually the last update to the engine we got.
Back in 23.2 or 3 or 4, whichever one it was, November, where they said this is the branch
one of those numbers
4.0 is on.
It was like October, November last year, so we've been almost for a year on that branch, and that's it. I agree. I don't think we're going to get any features. I think we'll get Vulkan, and I think Vulkan will be a feature in the sense that it will not make your high-end PCs run better. It'll make your potato PCs run better. So if you are not getting great FPS in Star Citizen right now, you'll probably eke out like 10 to 20 more FPS with Vulkan, and as they improve the performance overall and tweak things, it'll go up over time. But 324 was right.
You say potato PCs will get an improvement. What about our celery PCs or Celeron PCs? No.
Well, first off, celery PCs don't really work because if you try to run Star Citizen on it, it turns the celery into turns it red because of the food dye, and that just makes it disgusting. No one wants red celery, so because it looks like blood,
Here. You're going too far, Paul. You're going too far.
I gotta keep going. But yeah, I don't think we're gonna really see any new features. I agree with Fastcard as well. Nyx is not coming out. Like, as much as people want it to come out, Nyx is not coming out. Like, I was holding out hope until like the middle of this year, and I'm like, no. Well, because it became so clear that they need server meshing. Like, server meshing is required, or dynamic server meshing is required for it to come in, because they want to get instancing, and instancing is being worked on, but being worked on and complete is like a 9 months difference, sometimes 9 to 12 months. So if it's being started to work on in June, have a baby. Exactly. If it's being worked on in June,
I'm not doing that again. Got 3, we're good.
If it's starting to work on in June, then you're not looking until the beginning of next year before something like that is finished. And then if it's done, doesn't necessarily mean it's integrated and working and pushed out. And CIG is slow walking those processes now. So yeah. But things like new flight models, control surfaces, quantum travel, all of that stuff, that's not coming in this year.
It's all built on that new branch. It cannot come in on the current branch. They can't. It doesn't work with the branch of game that we're on.
Damn check tree! Why must I unlock meshing before I unlock a new system? Well, in this case, it's just because of the cost. But once there's not much of a barrier for CIG once they get dynamic in to kind of really balance the load. They'll balance the load, and then once they get the load balanced, they'll increase the player cap. So it'll be like, all right, we got this idea. We got a good idea of how the dynamic can work. And then they'll increase the player cap. Does it still work? Increase the player cap. Does it still work? And they'll constantly raise the levels until they get all North America has one server, and, all Europe has one server.
You're just going to blow that load.
What's that, Fastcard?
They're just going to blow that load.
Blow that
You
load.
Didn't want me to repeat that.
Yeah. Tree.
And we spent like 5 minutes on this one question. We got like 1,000 questions.
Yes, we'll keep going. All right, Scape asks, to acquiesce to a previous Fastcard request to go back to Alien Smut, Do you guys think we could get good money off of Xenos pinup? Would you purchase said posters? I know I would. I think
I
it would
would.
be. I think it would be great because it would be funny. It's funny and lewd, and the problem about Star Citizen right now is that a lot of Star Citizen content is very, very family friendly, which is fine. There's always spots for that. But we jump between like goofy family friendly Marvel film and an eviscerated still alive Vanduul being shot full of random juice with creepy
Like
overtones.
Alien Earth or something.
Yeah.
And
So
throwing bodies into a container in order to need more biomass
to feed a ship. Like you have goofy fun time and horrors beyond imagination. Like it doesn't really, we're not beyond imagination.
Shooting people in the head.
You know, it's like it's not really. There's no real in between. So having some funny or interesting or lewd or crude in between to fill out that gap is probably a good idea. Yeah, I think having stuff like that would be nice. It would fill out the world a little bit more, make it feel a little bit more realistic. It'd also be funny. So, all right. Chris then asks, it just asks if the YouTube bot is up. It is. Shadowstalker asks, forget about this year and any potential blown deadlines. What features do you think CIG is planning to push in 2026? Tree, I know you've got the list.
Well, engineering is going to be first,
Mhm.
and then radar and scanning. If you guys remember from Con 42, where Jared was there with Torsten, I think they're still probably pretty firm on that. And that was, they said that it was sort of a tie between engineering and radar and scanning. I think based off the monthly reports, I think Torsten is winning in terms of engineering, and I think that's going to be the first thing in tech preview, and subsequently the first thing that goes live. And everybody forgets that radar and scanning is one of Paul's famous One Ring systems. It's not just FPS; it's FPS. It's a rework of
Everything.
An update of FPS, or it's adding FPS on top of reworking and updating ship scanning, because it's holistic between the two of them.
Yeah.
And then the new flight model Yogi has said the new flight model with control surfaces and all that cannot be introduced separately from the new quantum travel system and all that. But I think in tech preview, depending on how they run it, they may do tests of those systems in like an Arena Commander style separately before they put them into a combined tech branch. I think that could happen, but that alongside with crafting, there's been a lot of work on crafting in the monthly report in terms of getting it ready in a multiplayer environment and getting that work done, along with building the API for the blueprint system. But I think that's further along.
Yeah, I mean, I would to talk about like the one
not as far along. Sorry,
not further along. I think that to talk about the scanning system, it's important to note that when CIG comes out with scanning, I don't think it'll be the final version of scanning. It'll be the base version of scanning. And then CIG's talked about things like long-term scanning and using probes, and those sorts of things will be add-ons to the system after they've released it. It'll just be the big overhaul, like the UI system they did last year, or the flight system they're doing, all of the squadron stuff, basically. That's what the scanning is.
Kind of like how they said engineering isn't coming with life support. Same thing.
Yeah.
Life support will come in a release after that. Subsequent release. Yeah, same thing. But that's what they're doing with crafting. Like that, when they talked about crafting, deciding what they wanted in live. I forget the verbiage from, I think it was the July month report, maybe it was August one, where they're talking about what they wanted in the first public, facing tests and stuff. That's what they're talking about, is what version of crafting or how much of the crafting feature set do they want in when they start tech previewing it with us, just like they did with engineering, where they said we're not tech preview it with It'll come with Fire and all that, but it won't come with live support. And I don't remember if they included, Paul, do you remember if they included Gravity?
No,
Turning
I don't think
that off
Gravity
and on?
isn't there in the first one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that's another one of those where it's the next, engineering, 1.2 essentially.
Yeah. All right. Go ahead,
I'll,
Fastcard. What do you think?
I'll take this one. The idea of pulling waifus and husbandos those big gotcha. The sooner they introduce it, the sooner we can get used to the idea, But seriously, I'm hoping for crafting and economy. Yeah, because that's been up my whole bag. People know I don't play Star Citizen much. Plus, one thing because stuff is temporary, but there will be a white before 1.0, or even before that. But yes, I'm just hoping for getting the gameplay that I want to see into the game sooner rather than later. But we'll see.
This is a good question. I'm just going to tackle it because we all have the same answer. Someone just asked, do you think the game will ever be finished? No.
No.
That's and it's a classic response.
The game will be finished when they shut the game down.
Yeah.
Put it this way: Squadron 42 will be finished. Star Citizen, no.
No. Yeah, Star Citizen will be in consistent development. Like Fallout 76 isn't finished. It's still being developed, even though it was released several years ago. Eve isn't finished. It's still getting updates. WoW isn't finished. They'll always be updating the game. Will they hit a 1.0 status? Yeah, CIG will hit a 1.0 status. It's just a matter of when, and they'll keep going. So it's a consistent question that comes up, and it's the easiest answer is no, because it's the question is, if the question is will Star Citizen ever have a release? The answer is yes.
Yeah.
The question.
Some people consider it already released, but in my opinion, it's not. But
no.
Squadron 42, yes. Star Citizen, no. I think that's probably a more complete answer.
So it was the person who clarified. When I say finished, I meant more like a normal playable game. Yeah. I mean, as this is going to sound like super controversial, but like Star Citizen's been a normal playable game off and on for years. It's just not.
Don't say.
But it's just not finished. It's not like it doesn't have all the features in that it was going to have. Like there isn't.
I see all these content creators on YouTube saying that how much of a piece of crap Star Citizen is. Are you saying they're wrong?
I'm saying they haven't played the game since 2016, mostly. There are, and even right now, there are ways you can hop onto the game and play it and not have any problems. Does that a consistent? No, obviously not. There are some days where you have no problems. Sometimes you have weeks or months with no problems, and then you can have an entire week or month that's just Star Citizen punching you particularly in the face because it's such a random problem. It doesn't always affect everybody in the game. That's that stage. But there are people who play it like a regular finished game, even now.
I don't like being punched in the face. It hurts, and I wear glasses.
Yeah, I know. I do too. It does hurt a lot. Let's move on to the next question. Steve the Answer asks, do you think Star Citizen will have integration with Twitch for account items? It already has integration with Twitch.
Account items?
So subscriptions we give items to. Basically, like Twitch drops.
Oh, Twitch drops. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it already has Twitch integration. It has Twitch and Google integration, I think, it has right now.
For YouTube.
Yep. I figured. I have to look in my settings.
So if you go into the launcher, underneath the sign in, you see it's either above or underneath it. You'll see Twitch and YouTube and Google options to click. So you can sign in.
The first Twitch drop needs to be the handlebar.
The other handlebar, you mean? The other handlebar.
Yeah, the other one, the complete collection.
I think it should be the handlebar, and it should be a melee weapon. And you can just like stab people with the handlebar.
No, bludgeon people.
Bludgeon people with it, Yeah, no, it's already there. I don't think it's fully integrated in the sense of like if you've connected your account with your CIG account with Twitch, that it's fully integrated in the same way it is, but it's there. You can sign in using Twitch. So Steve the Dancer asks, since we're all close to CitizenCon, what type of ships would each of you think you think will come next year?
Types of ships.
I think they're just asking like what type of ships would each of you think will come next year? Like what ships?
Are we still supposed to get the Ironclad this year?
No, I don't think we're getting the Ironclad this year. It's still in white box.
Okay, so next year. The Ironclad next year then. That's my guy.
Oh, yeah. IAE next year. That'll give it about a year, about 2 years in development, and I think it's the Ironclad.
The reason why I asked because I remember the Ironclad being one of the silhouettes that we saw at the CitizenCon last year. So yeah.
Yeah. They were very careful when they were talking about that. They said these are ones we've planned. Things change, things happen. We don't always do it. So, but they definitely are planning on doing it. But I don't think it's coming out this year, just because of that. It's still in white box in August, and it's a huge ship, and we've got 4 months left. So it's like, okay. I think it's the Ironclad. I think it's the Kraken at the end of the year. Because they're already working on it.
Next year?
I could see it at the end of the year. It might end up being more like Invictus 2027, but it's
yeah, I'm gonna say because I mean, it's possible, obviously, but I haven't heard him talk about it, so I don't know how far along it is. What about that one ship that people
as of the last 2 months, and
okay.
with all the work that's going on with the Ironclad, and if the Ironclad is looking like probably Invictus launch week next year, because the Ironclad is well into white box, if not in.
It's heading into gray box.
It's about to hit its gray box review, I think is what it said.
Yeah.
And if that's the case, and they're building up that Drake kit, because I've mentioned that multiple times, I do think that if we're in white box, starting white box for the Kraken by around IAE this year, that it could release IAE next year.
Hope.
I think if we're talking about like ships next year, I think to me, I think that they will probably be, I feel like it would be a mistake to radar and scanning is exploration gameplay. Like that is the gameplay feature that makes exploration a thing. And so I would not be surprised if by IAE next year they release a ship or more than one ship that goes along with the new radar and scanning gameplay that really ties into that. That would be my prediction.
Yeah.
And they, based off what Jared said, which talk was that? Where he talked about like
battlecruiser.
They were talking about they talked about it was in that same episode, battlecruiser, where they talked about ships, and they talked about when he mentioned that the Apollo is one thing, that there's another adjacent ship or similar ship or whatever. There's another medical ship that's in production right now.
Yeah,
we don't know what it is. We don't know anything about it, but it's one. But I think it's being timed for engineering, and I think this is my tinfoil hat. I think that engineering is a big part of how medical gameplay is meant. Actual resource consumption and the way they're, having more resources and for concepting medical gameplay and how healing is actually going to work. And I think that ship is where they'll be like, okay, cool. Now this is the next update to the design brief, along with the launch of this ship, etc. And we'll learn more then.
I'm hoping that we'll see some clue about that one mystery ship that looked like people say had the wings of the Corsair.
Flappy Bird.
The Jalopy.
Yeah.
Huh?
The Flappy Bird.
What were they?
Is what people call it.
They're just talking about it in your Discord. What were they calling it?
Okay, so there's a leak that's come out recently, specifically called which has it's the ships that are coming out for CitizenCon. There's 3 ships that are listed for sale, like their sale pages were leaked, but they didn't have any content. It's just the titles of the pages. So we know that like one of the ships is the Paladin, pretty clearly. That thing's been moving along in the monthly reports, so it's pretty much ready to go. The other one was the Stinger, like an Asperia Stinger, and the last one was called the Gray's Market Shiv.
Oh, that's what. Yeah.
So a lot of people think that sort of weird Corsair looking wing looking thing is the Shiv. I did an entire video on this, but the short answer is it's unlikely that's the Shiv, because CIG, the way CIG does pricing, they do typically a cheap option, a like slightly more expensive option, and then an expensive option when they do these big sales. Think of what they did with Invictus. They had the MTC, they had the new Guardian, right? And then they had the TAC. So those and then they also had the Idris.
Yeah, when they sell multiple like new ships, yeah.
But you notice like it was like tiny ship, somewhat expensive ship, bigger ship, gigantic ship, and and so if they're only suing 3 ships that we know of, then that Shiv, in the name, the Shivs aren't exactly gigantic; they're usually pretty small,
right?
And it's also, we also know that the Paladin's coming, and if the Paladin is like $200 something, we know that the what is it called? I always forget the name of this damn thing because it's not a blade name. Stinger, the Vanduul Stinger. That thing is going to be expensive because we know the size of it. We've seen it in Squadron, so we know how big it is. And
yeah, it's a heavy fighter.
It's a heavy fighter. So, and it's also an alien ship, so alien tax. So it's going to end up being like $400, like easy $400 to $500. So if we have
punches above its weight,
if we have
however you say that in Vanduul,
if you have a $300 range ship with the Paladin, and you have a like $400 to $500 range with the Vanduul Stinger, they're unlikely to go even higher or somewhere in that range with this Shiv. So it's likely going to be cheaper, and if it's going to be cheaper, if you look at the silhouette of the Flappy Bird thing, the thing with the Corsair wing, it is huge. You could see the silhouette of a person next to it to give it some scale, and it is big. It is very big. It's the size of a Corsair, at least like a snub-nosed Corsair. So, yeah. like I don't see that being the thing they sell. They may still sell it, and I have a feeling that it is still the Gray's Market manufacturer, because I went down a rabbit hole with this once that name came out, and I'm like, I know what the Gray's Market is. The Gray's Market is CIG's. First off, it's a tongue-in-cheek reference to the Gray Market, but it's their literal pirate manufacturer. It's going to be a manufacturer that takes the hulls of other ships, welds them together, and sticks them out. And we actually have examples of those already with the shipjacker ships from Squadron, the like Mustang Hornet-looking one, and then the Cutlass with Valkyrie engines and Freelancer engines stapled to it.
Jared is gonna come on the show and he's gonna say, "This is the closest I'm getting to my jalopy." And
yeah.
Maybe.
So like, I believe it's in that same vein. If it's not one of those ships from Squadron, because again, CIG loves to dip into the easy stuff, especially if it's already been made, and we know the Stinger's already been made for Squadron, so it's got to be, if this is an additional one, this might be one of those ships like the Mustang / Hornet combination. So
when are we going to see the Ken ship being on sale? No, I'm kidding.
Yeah.
Paul,
Eventually.
People are noticing. I've been hearing in Discord, but you're crackling and clipping a little bit.
It's gonna happen a little bit because I had to reset my audio stuff. So it is just what's going to happen. It is what it is unless I restart the computer. So
as long as you're aware of it, we just trying to make sure.
I can turn it down a little bit so it's not peaking as much, but that's about it.
Oh, the joys of having to constantly tweak audio.
Yeah, and my audio just doesn't like to work when it's ever since I moved to the new PC. So you're gonna hear double here for a moment because I want to figure out what it sounds to work when it's ever since I moved to the new PC. So you're gonna hear double here for a moment because I want to figure out what it sounds to work. Oh, it sounds fine. Anyways, let's move on to the next question. Or that question was basically, what type of ships? To finish to answer my question, I think we're also going to see the Hull B because we know that's being developed.
Oh, yep.
Yeah, forgot about that.
And there was one other one that was surprising, other than the Hull B, that I'm like, really? I want to say that they apparently said they were going to be working. They were trying to work on the G12, and every time they got started on it, got pushed down the road for something else. So I don't know.
Yeah, I'm looking for the G12. Well, I'm not looking for the G12. I'm looking for the Ranger. Is what I'm looking for. But yeah,
I don't really know what other old ships are like. I mean, there's the Odyssey, obviously, and there's the Galaxy. But,
Odyssey is not that old. The Galaxy is kind of old, yeah.
And then there's the Arastra. Those are the ones that are like the big ones, but there's not really anything smaller than that that's left.
I mean, like I said, the Ranger and the G12.
Raylan. Oh, yes, the Raylan. That was the other one that's actually being
Raylan, that's true. Also, the Raylan.
They're working on that too. So.
Oh yeah, because they talked about how
they've changed the
changing
boxes.
The cargo stuff.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So.
I'm looking forward to the Raylan. I do have that. I do have that in my hangar. I've been endlessly waiting for that one.
But yeah, that's about it. Let's move on to the next question. Skip one.
Scarpe.
Yeah, I know Scarpe, but I don't remember the last question we just had. It said like, what ships do you think of? And that just disappeared for some reason. Oh no, I see it.
Go there.
Yeah.
Go there.
We're good. Yeah. Escape asks, oh yeah, how do you guys feel about the apparent auditorium they built at CIG HQ? Reasonable funding allocations. So, I don't usually give much credence, especially on this program, to whatever drama that's kind of petty drama that happens, because it happens every week.
Go on.
But I will say, I do find it hilarious that people are mad about this, because
they got mad about the RSI door. I'm not surprised.
Yeah, it's stupid. People will get mad about anything, and it was posted by the same person who does this sort of thing all the time to try to rile the community up because he hates Star Citizen, he hates CIG, and wants to fuck with people's brains and that kind of stuff. Which is the company that built CIG's screening room in their new office in Manchester released a video doing a tour of the room and just explaining the unique aspects of it as sort of a way that they can promote their own services to other companies or other individuals who might see those needs. And Jared was on there talking about what they were doing and why they needed that room, and how it was very nice. Like the process, they went out to go get I forgot the name of it, but it's like a film company projector screen. They were
Finite or something.
Yeah. It was
Solutions.
It's a little bit more the actual company they went to get the film projector was a lot more. It's more like a professional grade movie one rather than the kind of more standard commercial ones.
Yeah, it's not a home theater one. It's a
yeah.
Like
Christie. Yeah,
no, I'm kidding.
a Christie film projector. Yeah. The reason why it's silly is because when I saw people getting mad about it, I'm like, do people just not follow game development ever? Because this sort of thing is very common in large gaming studios. And I know some people immediately said, well, CIG isn't Bethesda or Bungie or any of them. Like, no, but it's sometimes bigger.
They're bigger than Bethesda now.
Like,
I don't know how to explain this to you, but Bethesda is less than half the size of CIG.
And a screening room isn't like a matter of, did you release a game? You only get a screening room if you're a good boy. All right, if you release a game, it's like, no, it's a practical application of what you need to do for making video games and media content.
Especially if
put
you're
the
making
link
a
in
very
chat.
cinematic
Yeah.
experience, which is what Squadron 42 is, and is 3 episodes.
Yeah.
And you have all these cutscenes, and you have all this, you have the cutscenes, but you also have all these animations, the screen capture stuff. This is how you review that shit. You don't review it on a fucking monitor.
Yeah.
This is how you look at it when it comes out of post.
You sit down with Chris and the whole fucking production team, and you watch it.
It's like Lucas for Phantom Menace.
Yeah, and then they pull it apart and look at the little details. And it's also probably where, if a company, if a team is done with a new feature, they want to show it off, they'll bring in the management team, they'll bring up the projector, they'll show off, do a little production of saying, hey, this is what it looks like, this is what we're planning on, and then they can ask questions. It's just a meeting room. It's just a meeting room with a projector, but it's a little bit more fancy. That's it.
I put the link in Discord. Is it okay if I put that link in chat?
Sure.
So, and also, it's a way to bring in new blood, bring in fresh blood, bring in people who want to work at CIG, and they need ways to bring in people who want to work on Star Citizen or Squadron 42 or both, and this is just another method, so.
Also,
yeah, it is an expensive tool, but it's still a tool. But it's just like the rest of the Manchester complex, and to a lesser extent, Frankfurt is also very nice.
Yeah.
But the Manchester campus is a campus.
Mm-hmm.
They're treating it like it's a tech campus.
It's 700 people. They have like multiple stories of a building. Like, it is huge.
Yeah. And it's going to get bigger.
Yeah.
But this is how you spend money initially as a capital investment. That is a tax deduction when you invest in and do like that, especially in the UK. And it's a one-time cost thing, other than like
maintenance and upkeep.
You've got maintenance and upkeep, but it's a far better recruiting and retention tool than just better salaries. This is what MBA people look at all day, every day, in terms of how do they grow a workforce that can do the job and retain that workforce and do it in a way that is fiscally responsible.
Now, I will say, I do have a critique of it. Chris obviously skimped on it. There are only 18 chairs, and none of them have cup holders. I mean, come on. Yeah, they don't have any cup holders. There's no cup holders in the chairs.
Wait. Did Chris skimp on it, or did Finance Solutions skimp on it?
I think Chris, it was clear that CIG initially wanted to skimp on it because they're the ones who said they didn't need the Christie one. They just needed an industrial one. And it was the Financial Solutions that said, no, you need the Christie one for what you're doing. And then they went down and they talked with Christie.
The Voyager bar and get your drink or your coffee.
Yeah.
Screening.
So
where are you going to put it?
What's going to happen is there's no
broken and unplayable.
There's no tables you can put stuff out, so you can like pull it out and put down notes, so people can have to like carry their stuff. Which means if someone's having a little like a pizza that they're doing and they're eating it,
they could have got it if they had cup holders in the seat. I mean,
come on,
no brainer, right?
Now that you think about it, I mean, they probably don't even have a.
Say it again. They don't know why.
A slushy machine.
Slushy machine? Pathetic. Awful. The funniest thing is that it was mentioned, there's a couple people who mentioned it. There's a PS5 development kit on the freaking, in the freaking studio, in the shots. It's connected to the computers that are doing projections. It's clearly a dev kit. It's a dev kit. I'm pretty sure it's a dev kit. Is it a normal PS5? Okay, it's a normal PS5. But they have a normal PS5 hooked up to that thing. So, Dev kits lay flat. Okay, Jakara would know some more about it than I do. But still, there's a PS5 hooked up, and I'm surprised more people aren't making note about that.
No, they will
already
now.
Ported to PlayStation. Confirmed.
Yeah, it's a for the context. It's the PS5's there for when they play TGAs. It's for this fighting tournament that they were doing before they showed up because CIG was clearly doing like a big tournament before in that room. That's the only reason why that room is used. But to go into more detail about that, effectively, that was built 2 years ago. And the reason why it wasn't released, we don't know why. But we also know that there was an interview with with a lead character actor, the actor who plays the lead character in Squadron, who plays your character, the voice of your character and everything, who accidentally mentioned in a podcast, or intentionally mentioned but didn't realize he wasn't supposed to, that they were going to do a big sort of opening the studio thing in September of this year. And it was a small podcast. And after the Star Citizen fans saw it and started talking about it, the podcast went private, and then the video got taken down very quickly.
Oh, no.
And it's like, he was saying stuff he wasn't supposed to.
Oops.
And so if that's the case, then CIG is doing some sort of grand opening in September, and if it's September now, and that makes sense that they had that they let this company release this video about this screening room in September, because it's clearly like the CIG kind of is declaring everything complete.
I mean, there's only 3 days left in September. Has it already happened, or this is the thing that he was talking about?
The thing he was talking about was some sort of like grand opening in September, which we haven't heard anything about. But if there was if there was an original plan for a grand opening of the office in September, then them releasing this video, the company that did this, the actual build, releasing the video in September makes sense, because CIG probably had some sort of NDA where they're like, you can't talk about this until this time, and so that's why it got released now. So yeah. It's this, people are acting like CIG like magicked up a $20,000 screening room in a day. Like, it took all their Idris money and Chris spent it on hookers and cocaine or something. But it's like, this was built years ago, y'all. This is part of them building a gigantic
There's no
office.
tables for the cocaine.
Yeah, there's not even tables for cocaine.
I mean, and for history lesson, I mean, people got up in arms for the same thing about the RSI door in the LA studio.
This thing is made out of plywood.
Why are they spending our backup money on stuff like this? I'm like,
why do they have an airlock?
It wasn't that much. It wasn't that much.
Yeah. It took 3 years to build. Yeah, just that room only took 3 years to build. That's exactly right. Just that build. That room took 3 years to build. It was so important. No, it's. They would have
had to fit in silver messing. They have to fit in ICAST, socks. They had to do all that.
You'll see a lot of this. There's more than this. I as being under NDA partially because of working with JRDF in the past. I can say that JRDF has helped build the new studio and did a bunch of the modeled a bunch of the decorated a bunch of the rooms and such. And I've seen pictures going well back of all of the different models, like the full life-size Van Duel that we know that is there, and the different rooms that have different images from Squadron and Star Citizen. And
the company that builds all those models has been posting all that on their social media over this last year.
Yeah.
For the first time. Yeah, it's super cool looking.
Yeah.
But yeah, they've been under NDA.
Yeah. You're going to see that from now until Squadron releases. You'll be seeing that stuff being released just because they had to build a new studio, and now they're all no longer under NDA or any sort of contractual obligation, so they want to promote their work to other companies. So, all right, moving on from that. Harry Hotspur asks, if you three had paid / employed CIG to make you this game, considering the amount you hypothetically contributed, so to speak, would you be happy with their current performance? We all
they would have gotten way less money than $800 million.
Yeah.
If I had to do this by myself. So yes, I'm happy with that with their performance.
18 seats seems a bit small, honestly. How did they have all the hands-on meetings in there? I don't think they had hands-on meetings in there, but I think 18's probably
department heads.
It's probably all the department heads. Yeah, that's probably the fits almost exactly the number of, if you had Chris and then all of the department heads plus the executive heads and stuff. So
plus Jared.
Yeah, probably have people sitting in the back too and sitting on the stairs and in the pit. So
no, that's a fire hazard. Don't sit on stairs.
It is, but we just talked about developers not exactly being the most business-like folks. But yeah, no, I I don't understand the question, because like all of us did pay CIG to make this game.
Well,
We didn't pay.
okay.
We paid some money. We didn't pay all the money. And if the answer is, are we happy with what's going on? I mean, I'm still doing coverage of the game. I still play the game, so yeah.
Here we are.
But like,
I'm going to say a horrible thing, and I know it's a horrible thing, but just to make a point, I paid for Judd Huckabee's shirt.
Research
No,
and
I didn't.
development is expensive. No matter what industry you're in, you are having to do R&D in order to create a product from the ground up is expensive as shit. And the more complex that product is, the more expensive that research and development is going to be.
Yeah.
And that's the thing is, Star Citizen is a combination of a whole bunch of different games, into one, or things that people have done in different games. No one has put all these things together before, and tried to do it on either together or even on a single player, but much less in a MMO setting in this scale. And so that requires a crap ton of research and development, and that's why it's taken so long, and that's why it's so expensive. These are all problems that CIG has had to solve in their own unique way, because they can't just copy and paste it from someone else. They can't just say, oh, well, we've already built this game, so it's a unique solution. But R&D is never cheap.
I'm going to say
Just want to
something.
emphasize, I was kidding about Jared Huckabee's shirt. I did not pay for that.
This is going to sound weird, but this is a great way of putting into context. The money that CIG has gotten has allowed CIG to develop Star Citizen and Squadron 42 like an independent studio with a AAA budget. Because no AAA game is built out of pure passion. AAA games are built to make money.
Right.
They're not made out of artistic freedom. Sometimes AAA developers get lucky, and the thing they really want to make also happens to be really popular with the masses, and so they're able to get the money and get it done. And we've seen some of that stuff in the past. Like the Final Fantasy series is a great example of that. It's clear that the people who make those games are really passionate about them. Like Destiny, I know Bethesda games often does. I know there's lots of people who, myself included, are kind of have issues with Bethesda as it's evolved, but like Bethesda has hired a bunch of people who work on their games who were fans of their old games and wanted to make Elder Scrolls and Fallout and that kind of stuff, and then they got a chance to do that.
Yeah, Pillars of Eternity is a good example. They had a Kickstarter for that, and that turned out very well.
Yeah. But most times, if you're seeing a AAA video game, it's because some venture capitalist and or some publisher looked at it and said, I can make $1 billion, and greenlit it so they can make $1 billion. It's not a product to be consumed for artistic purposes. It's a product to be consumed for capitalistic purposes. And independent video games tend to be more passion-based. It's someone really wants to do this, and they have the time. They really work it out. During this, before we went live here, I was playing Jump Ship with one of the developers, or Jump Space. Such a bad name. I wish they could have kept it as Jump Ship. But Jump Space with one of the developers in Space Tomato. And it's clear that it's a passionate project. They're really passionate about what they did, and if you follow the development as was myself and Tree has, you can tell that these people love it. They like this stuff. They play their own game. That's how they're passionate about it, is they play their own game repeatedly, just for fun. And to make sure it actually functions, as well as like the dials and the details. And those sorts of games don't get a lot of AAA funding because they are focused on what somebody thinks is fun. And what somebody thinks is fun usually isn't something that's going to make $1 billion. And so Star Citizen is in that same mentality. Chris is making his game. The people he has on board are making the game that they want to make. Squadron 42 is, Half-Life, it's Wing Commander, it's Halo, it's a bunch of different things that people are inspired by it. Mass Effect. And it's not going to be a game for everybody. But it's the game that they want to make. And if it doesn't make $1 billion, it's not a big deal. But they have the budget of a company that has to make $1 billion in order to survive, in order to make the game. So they're in this weird position where they're going to take their time and do things which independent studios do, like Team Cherry? Yeah, Team Cherry. You know, how long did it take them to make Silksong? Like several years, like 4 or 5 years. Silksong was originally, the sequel to Hollow Knight was originally supposed to be like a year or two, and it took much longer. But, you know, they're basically billionaires right now. I don't know how much money they made, but it's 3 developers. 7 to 8 years, yeah. That's a great example. Like indie artists do that all the time. Is it a pain in the ass? Yes, but it's also Chris Roberts. This is something he does. He just like to really drill down on something and really make it perfect. And that's just what it is right now. That's how Star Citizen is. So, and it's sold for $20. That's true. I don't get me started on
a lot of copies.
I think that CIG needs to sell Squadron for $45, but you know, don't yell at me.
I'm gonna say 60. Well, I think that's the question coming up.
I think 45 is fine because it would definitely, or 50 would send a signal that it's like, this is a AAA game that we're selling for 50 bucks.
Okay, we're gonna talk about this now. See, the problem with 45 is that, you know, they are increasing the prices incrementally because, you know, eventually they want to bring the price up to a standard base game of a AAA game. So I'm saying $60. $45 for Star Citizen, $45 for Squadron 42. They'll stop doing that and make everything 60 eventually.
Yeah, I just think that 60 because a lot of people are worried that like Squadron's going to end up being like $100 because like all games are going to like $70 to $100, and I think
$80. Yeah,
I think Chris would do a disservice. Chris and his team would be doing a disservice if they took a look at this and said, well, we're a AAA game. And all these other AAA games are doing this, so we should follow the trend. It's like, no, buck the trend. You're an indie studio. Right. You have no publisher.
I agree.
Sell it. And you're releasing episode 1 of 3.
Yeah.
You know, if you want to sell it at the super high price and expect people to pay $300 total for all 3 episodes of the game, it's like, nope.
This is not Final Fantasy.
No. So selling it at like $50 would, because it's, you know, it's $5 more than it was last time it was sold, which was 45. So if you sell it at $50 as the base game, and then selling like a $60 or an $80 pack, which has like the soundtrack and some little goodies that you can get, you know, a digital art book or something like that, then it would make a statement because it's like, look at this polish, look at this. The cast, look at all of this, like how this game looks, how it feels, listen to soundtrack, and they're selling for $50. Why can they sell this for $50 and turn around to X AAA company here? Why are you asking me to spend $100 for a game that's half the length or whatever?
And this is part of the conspiracy of why some people think that people who trash Star Citizen don't want it to succeed because they're in the pockets of these other publishers, people who have publishers who will say this was sort of bad example for us because we still want to make all the money that we can. But
and CIG can make sell the game for the effectively the same price as those other companies because they don't have a publisher.
Yeah.
And so like that, those other companies are selling their game for $80, you know, because $20 of each copy or whatever, you know, $30 of each copy goes to the publisher or something. You have that cut that comes out and goes to Steam, where CIG doesn't have that problem. And so like it's an optics thing. I just want the collector's edition, and I want a Henry Cavill action figure so I can have Henry Cavill in the Squadron 42 flight suit with his chiseled jaw staring at me on my desk.
I mean, that's the irony. Irony is that what we'll see is if CIG sells it for $50, people will buy the $80 pack. Why? Because they're selling at $50. This weird brain thing that happens is people want to support a company that's trying to be nice about its finances. Like, but we have this other option which is entirely optional and gives you all these other just optional add-ons for $80. People will go, give me the $80 game. Because I want to support you because you're selling it for $50. It's like it's a weird mentality, but that's how it works.
Consumer psychology.
Yeah.
Please talk about a little figure for Henry Cavill for the collector's edition. I want an ultra edition where I get a Henry Cavill body pillow.
Yes. That's how you
No,
sell.
but,
That's how you
but
sell it to the ladies of the gaming is as a complimentary Henry Cavill body pillow with a special edition. They will throw fucking wallets at you.
but Tree and I were talking about during the break. CIG used to sell physical packages
Yeah.
For Star Citizen 542. I still have mine in my web hanger, and I'm still waiting for it to get shipped. Because for people who don't know, physical packages are like they had the CDs, physical map, models and blueprints and stuff like that you put to ship to us. Mine's a silver box. They had a green box also that was a little bit cheaper. It had different items inside of it. I want to say back in 2015, 2016, Sandy Roberts previewed or showed a mock-up of what those boxes would look like. So they had them. I don't want to say ready to go, but they were thinking about putting them out yeah. So I, they're no longer sold, and you can't buy them. But I'm still looking forward to mine when they ship.
All right, yeah, and I think that's a limited number too. That'll be interesting.
Yeah.
Naughty Alba asks, do you think they'll add the investigation missions and the larger salvage contracts like the C2 legal missions? I don't know.
Yeah. Do you think they'll add them? Yes.
Yes, at some point. Soon? I have no idea.
Investigation missions aren't coming back until we get radar and scanning.
Yeah, what we have right now with investigation missions is the current Onyx facilities are technically investigation missions. But
yeah, like the ones that we had pre 4.0 won't be coming back until we get the feature set.
Plus new ones, but we need scanning. Yeah. Shadowstalker asks, a question with CIG's primary focus being stability for this year. Is it a success, or does it have broken, or is all the broken older content tarnish that despite playability? I'm just going to jump on this grenade and say I did an entire episode with Space Tomato and were you there too?
Plug it.
I'm pretty sure it was with me.
Yeah, it was Space Tomato and
or I just watched it more than once.
Space Tomato and Loken, where we literally asked.
Or no, I was on Space Tomato show when we talked about it.
But is this the year of is this the year of stability? And we all universally said yes. Is it what we necessarily wanted with stability? No. But it is clearly a success for what it has, because while things are broken, as we just talked about earlier, money line go up and number player go up, mean success.
Yeah. Game engine stability and game network server stability are different than game feature feature playability. And that's it's a bitter pill to swallow, because we're like, oh, this feature's still broken, this mission's still broken, game's not. Well, actually, yes, technically it is. You are in the game, you are playing the game is broken.
Yeah.
In a lot of ways still.
People forget what 4.0 was like. 4.0 was like wasn't as bad as 3.18, but it was pretty bad.
People forget what 3.18 was like.
Yeah.
And 3.18.1 and 3.18.2
and 3.19 and
yeah.
So like compared to what we've experienced in the past, 4.1 and 4.2 have been, and now 4.3 have been like miles ahead in terms of stability. Like the number of times I've seen myself or I've seen other people have issues with 30Ks is mediocre. And it does happen when you're doing specific things, and it happens sometimes right when a patch releases or during a small window of a patch, and then it's usually hot fixed within a week. So, and you check out that episode. You could check out an episode of the Launch Sequence podcast with Tree and Space Tomato where they talked about this. So it's like this is one of those things where I think it's not just an opinion. It's straight up a fact that it was a success. There's just no way.
I think Soul Citizen. I think we did it. I think we covered this too as well in the past 3 months. But I can't remember the exact episode number. But yeah, a lot of us covered it in content creators community.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and Soul Citizens obviously it's done with this. So yeah, we've covered this, and I don't think it's one of those debatable things. I think when it comes down to it is, have you had a better time with the game or not? And that's more individual than it is a collective is CIG fucking up sort of thing.
Yeah,
Is Star Citizen better today than it was a year ago? No.
Yeah, it's completely appropriate to give them credit where it's due, but also to criticize where it's due, because this was the year. It wasn't just the year of stability; it was stability and playability.
Yeah,
and they have absolutely missed the mark on playability. At least in my opinion.
I agree.
There have been parts that have been more playable, but like the fact that we have a lot of stuff that isn't even in the game that we had last year. It's not playable if it's not back in the game because took it out at 4.0. A lot of things, a lot of the new content in a broken state and taken weeks, if not a full month, to get fixed. And so, like, these things are, different. They are different, and it's like, yeah, it's nice to be able to log into the game and an hours long play session, but it's still frustrating to, have these issues, that are still plaguing us. And
it's the bug buildup issue where like one bug will cascade into another bug, which will cascade into another bug, and now suddenly what should have been a 5-minute delay is a 30-minute delay, and you're like, man, dude, I don't want to play this game right now. So it's those issues, and those are
that's why your play session is longer. The game doesn't crash, but run into more bugs, and it just makes it.
Yeah, you keep trying to fix the problems, and you cascade, and then that's not even to mention when you try to play with more than one person. If you're playing with other people, oh god, all of the bugs happen when you start playing with other people. The more people you play with, the more problems there is. So there's definitely still issues. But that is I think that's a different question from the main main stability thing. All right. Epsilon asks, post 1.0, after more systems are in game, do you think they will lock certain systems behind a subscription service? Something like paying a security key.
Nah, yeah. I don't see them doing that.
No, I don't either. Elite did it.
Now, if you want those 100 system. Maybe no, I'm kidding. No, I don't see them doing that.
No, Elite did it with Earth, with Soul System. Like you had to you got early access if you paid some stuff, but you had to get a reputation. But yeah, no. Targer asks, there are probably some cheap Squadron 42 Star Citizen combo packs. For example, the 100i combo pack from 2022 for around $65 on backers' accounts. They ain't cheap in the gray market. They're going for hundreds of dollars in the gray market right now.
Oh, when Squadron releases, and then I have a few packs in my buyback that I will absolutely be using to pad my children's college fund.
Yeah. Will CIG tie them into the accounts and only permit buybacks with store credit to prevent them from being given away after Squad 42 or be melted and sold at a low price? Or does that matter to CIG? I don't think it matters. Because I guarantee you, if CIG looked at the data, most backers who have multiple accounts have them because they're going to give them to their friends or family. And most backers didn't hoard Squadron 42 Star Citizen combo packs to sell to undercut the market when CIG releases the game. I don't think they care.
I'm the one business. Dang.
Yeah. I think I have 2 or 3 packages like that. So.
Yep, I have 3.
I have given most of mine away. I do have one in my backpack, but.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well. Yeah.
Steve the Dancer asks, do you feel Crusader needs another ship? What would it be? Fastcard?
Crusader need another ship? Crusader. Sure. I mean, Crusader. Or maybe like a smaller version of the Mercury Star Runner that has two entrances. or an increase in a reasonable place, or maybe a bigger version of the Mercury Starliner that has 3 entrances, and that doesn't
you just
have that
want them to fix the
underground
Mercury.
tunnel.
You just want them to fix the
Yeah,
Mercury.
just fix the Mercury.
Yeah.
Just fix the Mercury. Yeah, basically what I'm saying. Okay. Yeah.
Tree?
I think they'll get a hospital ship or a medical type ship.
Almost certainly. We don't have a medium medical. Well, we do. We have the red, but we don't have like a medium size 2 or tier 2. So I can see it like that. A 400i
Now,
that might be a medical version or something. I don't know.
now if you ask me about the Mirai, I'm still looking for the Mirai cargo ship called the Mirai Carey.
Don't speak her name. It is not even October. You wish to wake the sleeper? You wish to wake the sleeper before her time? Let her stay in her ice cave.
Oh my god.
You're welcome, Tree. You're welcome.
Dad approved. Dad approved.
I think the Crusader. There's a Crusader ship that I think could work well, which is Crusader. I've always joked about this. A large, almost capital class Crusader bounty hunter ship. I'm gonna pitch this idea: the Cowboy Bebop, but by Crusader, or the Bebop, but by Crusader.
Oh, the ship. Okay,
Yeah.
Black Crusader.
It holds one like Avenger or Hawk like scale ship. It
My
has
question.
yeah
How disgusting will the refrigerator be?
alien levels of disgusting.
You got to watch the series. You got to watch the series if you know what I'm talking about.
You got to understand it. But it has, you just give it some a place to store the cryopods, a like prison cell / interrogation cell, a place for the people like armory, a place for people to sleep, and then like 2 to 3 people to crew the whole thing with minor weapons. You know, some defensive weaponry. Effectively, a mobile police precinct or like mini police station. To be used by NPCs, but also by players who are doing bounty hunting in large groups. So you can have sort of like a repository of criminals, while also having really good scanners and other things like that to keep to let it transfer. So
it's been a long time, but they had talked about where if you deliver, if you deliver bounties directly to quarter deck, like some bounty hunters will do that and get like stuff versus like if you because we know that like they're concepting and doing the white box for those like kind of like a security precinct. Remember you remember seeing that a few years ago? Well, I imagine if you can get like a different payment based off of how far you take your bounty. Do you take them there to have them processed? Do you take them, to Klesher, directly to Klesher, or do you, oh yeah, this is you found an ultra baddie, and you can get the highest tier payout, and because that would be like the really cool thing, especially if it was NPC. You take them, the further you take them, the more risk you have of getting intercepted by their faction. The probability volume around you, of getting intercepted, and then you have to fight them off. Like that would be really cool NPC bounty hunter gameplay. If you had a probability volume, and no, you just want to quickly turn them in. Okay, cool. Pay. You make a longer play session out of it. Or you transport like a handful of NPC bounties that have high risk, and you're like, okay, well, you're probably going to get attacked. Paying attention, and they know that they're getting transported. And you have to repel borders, and that would be cool as shit.
yeah, I think there's a space for an NPC. The ship that I just described is an NPC ship, and if it's an NPC ship, why not let players, let players fly it and use it? And I can see it being useful for, if you have teams of bounty hunters working together, and you only have so much space, you can just like store all of the bounties in a space, and then you can like fly them off to locations to drop them off, so you can like chain them together and that sort of thing. So, and if you have like beds and food and armory and place to like land smaller vehicles, plus some a little bit of guns and some better like sensors so you can track people a little bit better. Yeah. All right. Next question. Up. I stopped the questions a long time ago. Stop accepting them at least. Is it possible for them to figure out a gameplay loop? Is it possible to figure out which gameplay loop makes them the most money?
Makes who? CIG?
CIG, yeah.
Combat.
Starter?
There's a whole lot of combat ships.
Starter, maybe? I imagine there's far more starters
gameplay
sold.
loops.
You know.
Well, it's not a fair argument right now because not all the loops are in or completed.
That's true. Also, that's a good point.
Medical still doesn't exist, and it's always been meant to be one of the biggest and most impactful professions in the game, and it still doesn't really exist as a profession. It's not really a thing. But how many medical ships do we have? So.
Gosh, yeah. I'm just thinking off the top of my head. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have 5 plus the Hope, so 6. But the Hope isn't released, so yeah, 6 medical ships. Ships with medical.
There is a way to figure it out because we can look at the funding dashboard of C2 game, and whichever month made the most money outside of Invictus, you can tell which ships were sold that month, and you can see which one made them the most money.
The Idris.
Except for April and Invictus.
Well, the Idris.
Yeah. it's probably always going to be combat, but the other thing is combat isn't just combat. Things are going to be a bit more divided between bounty hunting and mercenary work in the future. So,
not to mention, combat is involved in lots of other things as well. That just as a matter of practice, like every ship's a combat ship as long as I have guns. So. Next question comes from Grexon, who asks, would you like a custom-approved, user-created decals in the game? And if so, how much should it cost to be reviewed and approved?
$5.
I think, yes, I would like it. And I think it shouldn't be something that it can be done by individuals. I think it should be done if you have an org. Now, if you want to make an org for your own custom icon, you can, but it should be priced for org purposes. So
I think there needs to be a minimum amount of members in the org.
I think it's fine if it's just an org based and there's no minimum numbers, but the cost should be reflective of a 20 to 30 person org. So $50 to $100, for something that you can reuse on all org vehicles and logo using vehicles and clothing and armor and weapons and all that sort of stuff, forever. Yeah. I don't know. What do you think, Tree?
I think it's fine. It's just one of those things so far, so not on my radar.
Yeah.
Right now, because that is a well beyond 1.0 in my opinion. Yeah. So it's just like me.
I think it's probably closer to 1.0 because a lot of this stuff is also going to be crafted. Because it's going to be part of the crafting system. But
org stuff should be in before 1.0, so maybe it'll be a part of org stuff.
But I do think it's a 1.0 level issue rather than a tomorrow thing.
I don't think that it's a priority for CIG to dedicate staff to review individual player logos, for money, leading to 1.0. I think that's.
I wouldn't mind getting paid for that. But CIG, whatever.
Do I think that we'll have logos for our orgs? Yes, out of stuff that the CIG gives you the tools for. Not I want my very specific thing that I made, to be able to upload it and then have CIG approve it. It's like, yeah.
All right. Quick question. GQB asks, would you like to see the Twitch? What would you like to see for Twitch drops? have y'all experienced Twitch drops before?
Yeah, I have. I'm
Yes.
trying to think. I mean, the thing is, we already pay for stuff that we would get as Twitch drops. So why it'd be
Well,
just free stuff that we
It's
would already pay
it's
for?
designed for not us. Twitch drops is for the demographic that would play for Star Citizen at 1.0, and that would be my guess is armor skins, weapon skins, ship skins,
Yeah,
trinkets,
flare.
guns.
Ooh,
You know,
no, not mine. I was gonna say
Yeah.
patch, but
Trink-
we already covered that.
Vehicle trinkets, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Bobblehead.
Yeah, the baubles that you put on your dashboard.
yeah. I can see something like a Twitch inspired canteen. You know, because they have those water canteens, stuff like that. Something that's simple.
Trophy like we used to get at Gamescom and CitizenCon. A Twitch trophy.
Twitch trophies. Yeah, see that. Oh god, not more purple skins. Yes, the whole world would be purple. It's CIG. They're not going to have a logo with Twitch on it that just has no
No, no, no.
context. It's going to be
Right.
Twitch, and they're going to create a whole freaking lore about what
Lore.
Twitch is and what it is in the universe of Star Citizen and why it exists and that kind of stuff. So,
Oh, I got it. I make it a connection with Twitch Pacheco.
yeah, there we go. That would actually be a clever way of doing it. Is like the way you get the Twitch drops is like through Twitch Pacheco. So I like it. Do you believe? Oh, so
It gives
Scott,
you a mission
yes.
to go find her dead drops.
There we
That's how
go.
you get the Twitch drops. Yeah.
I can see that. That would usually Twitch drops is like watching a streamer play it, but I could see something like that
Yeah.
be connected to it. So like what you get isn't a thing. What you get is a token that allows you to activate a mission to get the thing. So it's like a sort of like a gateway into the gameplay.
And you have to make sure that you fit it on the elevator, and the elevator has to. No.
Escape asks, do you believe hex code could make CIG good money? I have argued.
Good money.
I have
Go
argued this
ahead.
for years. Both MechWarrior Online and Warframe do this system where instead of having skins, they have patterns. And then they sell color palettes that you can then color in those patterns however you like. From flat colors to like metallic colors to different shades of different colors. And you can either earn them in game or you can buy big palettes, you know, and like every pattern comes with certain colors. You can buy palettes independently and then you can just apply them however you like. As long as CIG allows you to also craft those colors, and just this is sort of like a convenience solution, and then have patterns which are unique to be sold, and then other patterns which are available in game. CIG, and you sell them for like $1, people will buy them because it's just easier for them to get the palette that has all the chrome colors, the chromatic colors, than it is to go individually and make them. If you sell it for like $1.50, it's like, oh yeah, I'll just pull that out and get that done. So, and it's not egregious because you could still get it in game if you wanted to get that one color. You just need to go do the research and go do the crafting process, and you know, it works for those games and has done well. I don't see it not working for CIG. So, what do you think, Tree?
I think the only thing would be what sort of tech limitation is there, like with the way the tint system works and the way paints are applied to ships. I feel like it's something that they need to do, and the fact that they have made painting your ship such an overly complicated, silly thing with physicalized fucking paints.
Yeah.
It's one of those things where they need to have a better system long term, but they are so far into this system, it would be a big lift for them to turn that boat around. I would want something more like what you're saying. I just don't know how likely that is in the not too distant future.
Someone said, unfortunately, CIG recently spoke how difficult it would be to release Hex skins. No, they didn't. They said that they didn't want to do it because they thought it would look bad. It's not a difficulty. They just said it would look bad. They don't want to do it because it would make the skins look bad. And if the skins look bad, then they felt it would be against their professional whatever the fuck. It's an excuse. It wasn't because they make the system using a hex code editor. They basically do the same thing. It's just they take a little bit more time to like make sure that the patterns are proper and that the colors match with the patterns and the light's reflecting properly and all that kind of shit. It's like that doesn't really matter. Most people don't give a shit about that. If they did that, they just use making colors, you know?
We just have Power Week, and the skull skins were not. I don't consider them a hex skin because they have a pattern of a skull on there. So I don't know how you do that as a hex pattern.
You would just have the skull as its own. Everything that is a skull is its own color, and then everything that's not the skull is its own color. And then you just color in the skull whatever color you want, and then whatever around the skull.
But if you want players to do that, that's a lot of work.
Yeah, it takes systems to actually set up, but the system that they run right now, like they could turn the skull into blue if they wanted to, like for every one of them. They just don't because it's an internal tool. They'd have to make it an external tool. It also impact their skin sales. Yeah, it would improve their skin sales if they sold every skin with colors that match the skin and also the skin itself as a pattern, because then people would go buy their color palettes and color in the patterns. I'm not saying like you're gonna have, full customization of painting of all of the details. No, it's going to be primary, secondary, tertiary. But yeah, it's CIG doesn't want to do it because it's a lot of work for them to do it now. And their excuse is, but we're artists and we want our art. And it's like, yeah, you're making a video game. This is collaborative art, and the people you're selling to are exactly going to be using those skins to make them unique for themselves. You're not unique if you've got the same skin 60 other people have. People want to make it unique. Let them make it unique. It's part of an MMO. CIG is just going to have to get over their aversion to this. The ship teams are going to have to get over their aversion to this and bite the bullet at some point. Because right now they're just delaying the inevitable of what's going to happen anyways. So
I have to have Lot Zero look so good. It's like, who looks at your ship at Lot Zero?
Yeah. And let people make ugly ships. HC Vertigo already does that with armor. Everyone makes the clown armor jokes and those sort of things because they want to be ugly. Let people make ugly.
We already have the ugly ship manufacturer, Drake. What more do you want?
Let people make ugly things. Ugly is part of art.
Have you ever seen that meme of somebody painted I think it was like a 90s Chevy S10, and it was literally the entire thing was red.
Yeah.
I got a buddy who my cousin will paint your paint gun and everything. He does good work. Literally, like the interior, the dash,
everything's red
and solid red.
All right, let's move on to the next question. Stickeroo asks, do you think Squadron 42 will come with a digital collector's package or something similar? And if so, what do you want to be included in these? I've already said so. Fastcart?
Yeah, we already talked about the physical package that they sold a while ago. The digital package, they sold those too as well.
Yeah.
It just evolved over time. But basically, the digital package had similar stuff as the physical package, but just digital. Like they had the map and a book, the mod book, the engineer's book, the mod book, the making of Star Citizen, Squadron 42. Yeah, making of Squadron 42. Yeah.
Yeah. I could see a soundtrack, maybe some unique skins for your ship in game. That
they still sell some of the digital stuff on the extras in the store, like the novella, the Star Citizen novella. Yeah. That's part of the digital package.
Yep. Jokero asks, do you think they will discontinue the availability of ships larger than a Cutlass on the Pledge store after 1.0? No.
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 That's an easy.
I mean,
when they-
okay.
when
Okay,
I-
here's the
When we
question.
talk about them stopping selling ships, I mean like stopping making more ships,
Yeah.
or dramatic, like dialing that way back,
Yeah.
not
make
turning
it
off
a-
the pledge store one day.
Make it a thing for IAE and Invictus. Not an
Yeah.
every
Mhm.
patch thing.
Now, this person said, Casual said the Cutlass. I could see a day where they may stop selling like Javelin, something so big.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see.
Escape asks, would it be unreasonable for them to sell a rocket launcher model for this Talon Strike module? No, I still think
Module, oh.
So Escape has been on this thing about how the Shrike should have the ability to carry dumbfire rockets.
Okay.
Not only based off of its role in lore, but based off of what a dumbfire rockets are. They're cool, and it makes sense because the Shrike is an attack craft. It's designed to attack ground targets, so it should have the ability to spam a bunch of dumbfires into an area, just saturation drop things. So, yeah.
By the way, Paul, I think you got to stop saying dumb. They're just mentally insufficient. That's a PC word for the thing.
What was
just
that?
letting you know. Mentally insufficient
To say
instead of dumbfire. You got to stop saying dumb.
Oh, mentally insufficient rockets? Yeah. Lesser rockets? Yeah.
No, they're not lesser. They're just as good. Don't do that. they're not 3/5 of a rocket.
Oh my god! I cannot believe
You walked
made
into that
joke.
one. I wasn't even planning on doing that this show. You walked into that one.
Eh.
All right, we got 3 questions left. Escape asks, who do I pay to get CIG to fix the Tumbril Storm? Loken. Get Loken to pay Loken to get paid this Tumbril Storm. Just pay for Loken to go in front of the ship team in Manchester to pay for him to give an hour to 2 hour long lesson on what's wrong with the storm.
113 slide PowerPoint.
Yeah. Just have at least and have it's Loken, have Loken and Akira. Just have them go up there, and Akira can lecture them on the finer points of armored combat and how it's stupid as shit to have your only egress point from an armored vehicle towards the enemy without any cover.
Where you were probably damaged in the first place.
Yes.
The door is broken.
Yes. No, let Loken suffer. No, you have Loken up there and you have Loken explain it in very calm terms so that when they go, but that's not cool, and then Loken explodes and be like, it's not about cool, it's about surviving. And in your video game that you want people to use your vehicle so it survives, you don't want it to face towards the enemy like a claymore. Your body is not a claymore. It shouldn't blow up into human-sized shrapnel chunks and maybe hurt your enemy with your multi-million-dollar machine. They gave Loken a storm, by the way. They gave him a unmeltable, unupgradable
oh no!
storm.
This is the first I'm hearing of this. Oh my god.
Yeah,
they redeemed him. They did what
they deemed him.
Yeah.
No, they redeemed him.
They deemed him worthy.
No, they redeemed him. Yeah. So are you and Loken going to form a club now?
I sure did.
Yeah. Yep. C Daddy did it. Did you call it his most favorite vehicle as well, C Daddy? Or did you troll him saying the most well-designed ship of all time, the most well-designed army vehicle of all time, or something?
You son of a bitch.
Loken's most favorite ground vehicle. All right. Next question comes from Captain Jacaro, who asks, do you think they will actually fix the problems with the storm?
Oh God.
With just 2 storms back to back? Or do you think they'll just make a better vehicle that will outclass it in every way, making it so people forget it exists instead. I think they'll eventually get to the point. I think the biggest problem with the Storm is its entrance and egress point, and then its size. And I don't think you fix that. I think you just build a vehicle that's better. They already did that with the MTC.
Yeah, I was gonna say the latter instead of the
It's gonna
former.
be the Storm DS.
Yeah.
The Storm DS. Oh God, no, not DS. Anything but DS.
So the driver has to exit out the front.
With the
It's
gunner.
exposed.
Yeah.
like a miner on the oh god the Argo ship.
The mole.
see-
The mole. Yeah.
Yeah. The gunner is exposed like a miner on the.
Just
See,
strap into the back.
I don't know your history with the Storm, but when the Storm was first announced, they had that. It's not behind the ship. It was the actual ISC. I was excited for it because one of the developers said it's like a mech, and that made me hook up like one of the animal, the prairie dog or whatever.
That's the reason why Loken, I think, has most of the problems with it, because Loken and I are both mech aficionados, and for those who don't know, Loken got to start streaming. Started streaming MechWarrior Online. That's how he got started his streaming career. So like, to say this is like a mech, and then to be the most egregious insult to armored vehicles that has ever been built. But I think what they'll do, I mean, they already kind of fixed the Storm. They created the MTC. The MTC is effectively the Storm, but small. It is a 2-person combat vehicle. It's mostly for recon, but it's got like 2 size 3s on that thing, isn't it? Might be 2 size 2.
Yeah, but the Storm has a bespoke size 3.
Yeah, but that hits like a size 4. But it's also the size of a Nova, as the footprint of a Nova.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So,
but go fast, Paul.
But go slower than the Nova, still.
Probably put a red skin on it. It'll make it go faster.
I still say that the AA is the perfect. It's almost like it was designed for the AA, and then they just sort of decided to make it a scout vehicle instead of an anti-air vehicle. All right, last question is from MPCDN, who asks, what does CIG need to add to have the player feel like progression?
They need to make sure that when the next pack comes out, we don't have to keep our inventory all in one place.
Or
we can keep it out in other places and not have it disappear.
Yes. Reputation as well. Have you slowly unlock reputation? You know.
Make sure that we can keep our ammo and smaller items too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Long-term progression requires long-term persistence. What?
Yeah.
Who knew?
Death of a Spaceman.
Yeah, I think Death of a Spaceman too. They need that line to drop.
Person, people. It's 2025.
LTP requires LTP. Yeah, it's the frustrating part about Star Citizen is that for years CIG has been on the cusp of game being game. Be it performance-wise, gameplay-wise, it's always been almost there. And then they move along to do something else, and they don't quite achieve that with that one feature. And they're now at that point where LTP and progression and reputation are just, they're there. They're almost there. CIG can almost do it, and I don't think they will. They'll move on to engineering and do the same thing. So.
Get back to the
Reputation 2.0 and LTP 2.
Yeah.
Which are 2 things that they have talked about, and it's like,
yeah,
God damn it. We have these systems in game, but the 1.0 version is sufficient because they came in a few years ago and they work with server meshing, kind of.
Yeah.
But now that we're progressing to dynamic server meshing, they need to get brought up to speed. Yeah.
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 It just sucks. The system sort of works, kind of, but it's like it's not built for server meshing, so they're just building a new system for server meshing.
Yeah, well, and just like how the instancing, we have instance hangers,
Yeah.
They work,
Sort
quote
of.
unquote.
The kind of sometimes. If you look at it
Instancing
sideways.
works, but it's not the final version that they want. Server meshing.
It's still funny because you can still hear other people in VoIP in their hangars.
Yep.
Yeah, and like the
has startled the shit out of me so many times. Because somebody will speak, will yell very loudly in a foreign language directly behind me in my own hangar.
You're lucky.
By myself.
You're lucky. You're lucky that the limitation is only 60 people. Because when they expand it to like fit the whole server, oh boy.
Servers.
That's why I generally like don't go to main landing zones and the LEO stations, because that's where you run into the most issue with the overlap. I stay out at the the outlying stations, so I don't have that, because it is, because I play late in the evening after the kids have all gone to bed, and so I'm like tired. I want to get into do some things, and so like I'm not ready when somebody screams in German right behind me.
One of my favorite things to do is when I hear someone talking and like it's like a heavy accent, but it's like it's an American accent, but it's a heavy accent. I'll just put on my worst Brooklyn accent and just start screaming at them, being like "Occupado, get out of my hangar," like what are you doing, buddy? Buddy, this ain't the union, all right? This is against the union protocol. Get out of my hangar. It's awful. It's terrible. I have never really been to New York, and
I'm walking over here.
Yeah.
Oh God. Yes.
Hey, my ship's parked here, buddy.
Say hello to my little friend.
The thing that no New Yorker actually says and gets mad when you say that, because they, because it was said in one movie 40 years ago,
yeah, it's about 40. You're right. Yeah. Dang, I feel old.
All right, that's the last question. Thank you all for joining us. Thank you for asking the question. Thank you for Tree and Fastcart for joining us for tonight to talk about this. We'll be back next week with a special edition of the Captain's Table, because it'll be with myself and Solus, who are the MCs for the Star Citizen, or the Austin SitCon Direct watch party. So we're doing a big watch party. It's going to go on for 6 to 8 hours, where we have a preview where you can come in. We've taken over basically all of the private locations, the private areas for pinballs here in Austin. So we'll have like a projector to watch it. We'll have myself and Solus and DJ Knight will be there to comment on stuff, and we'll be doing giveaways. CIG will be there. We also can confirm that. Let me get his full name, because I always forget his full name. Do you know Elwin's last name, Tree or Fastcart?
Oh,
head of North American ship team.
Mm-hmm. I got to talk to him at CitizenCon 2023. Damn it! Oh.
But Elwin, head of North American ship team, will be there because he is he's there. Yeah, Elwin.
So what I'm hearing is this will be a very special episode. Yeah. This will be a very special episode of the Captain Table, where Blossom will discover the birds and the bees.
Yes. Yeah. Exactly.
Okay.
Or why it's bad to do drugs. But we'll be talking.
That's right. There you go.
We'll be doing. We'll be doing. We'll be doing sort of like a preview. We'll talk about CitizenCon, what we expect, all that kind of stuff, and we'll be promoting. Come on down if you live in the Texas area, anywhere in Texas. If you want to come down to Austin for a day or two, Texas.
If you're in Lubbock, come on down.
Yeah. Hey, El Paso, come on over.
All of Texas converge in one place. No.
Bucklier. I'm probably butchering his last name.
Bachelor.
Is it Bachelor? But anyways, Elwin will be there. So as we just confirmed that he'll be there. So be nice to him if you're there. All right. And make sure you say you loved the Silverback, because for those you don't know, the reason why he got worked for CIG is because he was part of the next great starship, the Abomination that gave us the Redeemer, and he created the Silverback was his entry, which has sort of seems like it's morphed into the Raylan. It's very similar on similar design aspects. You can see a lot of those in there, like the Brutus has a lot of similar lines to the Buccaneer. I don't know if the Boomslang has much, but yeah, there's a lot of those like little. The Scimitar that was being produced clearly became the Hammerhead. It had all of the same sort of like design features, including the T head. So, yeah, come join us there. It does cost money. It's going to be like $10 or $15 to join, so it's not expensive. And it's just a watch party. But we'll be hanging out. We'll be giving away ships. We'll be talking. We'll be doing bringing up folks from the various organizations that are there to talk about their organizations. I will be doing a quiz, a lore
quiz,
quiz, a lore we'll do like basically I'll ask a lore question, you get it right, you get a prize, that kind of thing. So with that being said, make sure to check out Tree0311 at his YouTube and Twitch. And check out Fastcart on Soul Citizens and just about anywhere else Star Citizen content is produced. You'll probably find them there.
Discord links are on my Twitch and my YouTube. Discord is always an open invite. Come on down and chat with us.
Yeah. And thank you for watching. Thank you for hanging out. If you did enjoy this, hit that follow button. Subscribe for more content. Hit the bell icon to be notified when there's a release, and join us live at twitch.tv/theastropub, youtube.com/@thecaptainstable podcast, 3 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific on Saturdays. Would love to have you come join the chat and have your own questions asked. With that being, thank you for watching, and like I always say, hope to see you someday in the black.
Go buy Jump Space.
Go buy Jump Space. I meant 4 p.m. Eastern.